Hello, I'm Fliss. I'm really excited to be guiding you through this flowing Hatha yoga class today. I've got a thin wedge block and some cushions ready to enhance my practice. So if you have anything like that to hand and you want to get it ready, then you can go and get it now. You may also appreciate the use of a strap for some poses as well. So if you have a yoga strap or anything that would replace that, you might want to have one of those to hand as well. And we'll start lying down. So come and get yourself comfortable lying down on your mat. And I'm not using any additional music today, so also if you have a favourite track that you like to have in the background of your own practice, you could take a couple of moments to get all of those things ready. And then once you're happy and settled on the mat, just give yourself some mindful breaths. Feeling the hips release down. Adjusting your shoulder blades so that you can relax your shoulders down away from your ears. I'm going to keep my knees bent, but you don't have to. If you're more comfortable stretched out long, you can do that too. Just noticing your breathing. And the asanas of this sequence today are designed to help open up through the root chakra. So if you enjoy setting an intention for your practice or a positive affirmation, you could create that now. I'm going to go with, I am grounded, I am stable, I am here in this moment. That anything that holds truth for you is going to have value for your practice. And when you feel ready to start moving, we're going to start by coming into Apanasana, drawing the knees in towards the chest, and gently pressing on the calves. Feeling that release of the hips as you exhale. And then maybe creating some small shapes with your knees, maybe circles or rocking side to side, starting to wake up the lower spine, massaging it into the mat. Keeping the neck and head in neutral, shoulders relaxed. Coming to stillness, we're going to take the toes up towards the sky so that the feet are flexed. And then keeping hold of the right knee, extending the left leg out long, reaching out into that extended heel. Maybe as you exhale, you can draw that right knee a little bit closer to your chest. Taking a breath in, and then as you exhale, swapping your legs over, drawing the right knee close, Pressing out through the right heel, toes still pointing up towards the sky, softening the shoulders, softening the face, breathing. And taking one more inhale, and as you exhale, releasing the knees, bringing the soles of the feet to the mat, knees pointing up towards the sky, finding about a hip width apart with your feet. And if you wish to, you can stay here and just enjoy that nice sense of release in the lower spine. Or if you're happy with a twist, you can bring your arms into a big T shape out to each side. Take a breath in, and then as you exhale, letting your knees drop over to one side. And if the ground's feeling really far away here, you could grab a cushion and just slide it underneath that bottom thigh, bringing the ground up a little bit closer, helping you to release through the hips. Using the exhale to soften the shoulders closer to the mat, softening at the hips. Just taking a moment to realign the spine. Taking a breath in, and then using your exhale to draw your knees back through center and over to the other side. And you could walk your feet across the mat there as well if you wanted to. Maybe your cushion follows you over to the other side, or if you wanted to extend the sensation through the spine here, you could take your gaze in the opposite direction to your knees. Nice steady breaths. Taking one more breath in, and then using your exhale, we're going to bring the knees back through to center. Soles of the feet to the floor, knees pointed up towards the sky. And just checking again that the head and the neck are in neutral, the shoulders and the arms are soft. You might want to stay here if this feels really good, just feeling your breath in your body. Or I invite you to lift the left knee up and taking that left ankle, flexing the foot, we're going to rest the left ankle on the right thigh. You can slightly change the sensation here by pressing the knee slightly further away from you. Depending on the intensity of the sensation here, you might want to stay here and just breathe through this hip stretch. Or if you wish to, you can lift the right foot up off the ground, using that right thigh to draw the left foot a little bit closer into you. Just noticing how that changes the way you experience this pose. Steady breaths. Using your next exhale, lowering your foot down if you need to, bringing that left foot down as well. And we'll see how that feels on the other side. So we're going to lift the right leg this time, flexing the right foot and resting the ankle over the left thigh. Again, you might want to slightly press that right knee away from you. And if this is feeling really nice, you can stay here in this moment with your breath. Or if it suits your body, seeing how it feels to lift that left leg up, drawing the right foot a little bit closer in towards your body. Staying mindful of the breath. Mindful to soften the neck and the shoulders. Inhaling and exhaling the feet back to the floor. Taking a breath here. And we'll come back to Apanasana, knees in towards the chest, and this time we're going to rock side to side and create a little bit of momentum to come all the way over onto one side. Giving yourself a moment here just to take a little breath, and then exhale to gently lift yourself up to seated. Finding your comfy seat, I'm going to come into Sukhasana or easy pose with my legs crossed, and then grab a low block to slide underneath the pelvis and just find that little bit of height, feeling the knees softening down. And now that you've found your comfortable seat, take a moment to just bring some awareness into the alignment of your body. So all the way through your practice, you want to think about lengthening out through the crown. And as you find that length out through the crown of your head, the shoulders can soften gently away from your ears. We're going to lightly engage the pelvic floor, not in a tight or uncomfortable way, but just some awareness of the pelvic floor. And you may also wish to draw your navel in towards the spine and help to protect the lower back with your tummy muscles. Feel your breath here. You might come back to your affirmation. I am grounded. I am stable. I am present in this moment. When you're ready to, we're going to take some gentle shoulder rolls, just starting to warm up the shoulders and the thoracic spine. So with your next inhale, you can scoop your shoulders forwards up to your ears, and then as you exhale, drawing the shoulder blades back and down the spine. Try 3 more. Inhale as you roll up. Exhale as you roll back and down. And on this last one, we're going to keep the shoulder blades tucked in down towards the waist. And with that sensation, you're going to slowly bring your chin down onto your chest. Still breathing nice, steady breaths. Lift through your heart space. Feel the weight of your forehead coming forwards. Noticing how that feels in your back. As you inhale, you can bring your gaze up to center, or if it's comfortable, take it all the way up to the sky. Exhaling slowly as you come back down, chin to chest, heart space lifts. And then releasing as you find center. Give the shoulders a little wiggle out. Lovely. When we come up to standing in the middle of the sequence today, we're going to come into a peak pose of goddess pose. So let's have a little practice of what that arm position might feel like if you're using goddess arms. So you can start with your arms reaching out to either side of you, parallel to the floor, drawing your navel in, nice long spine. Take an inhale. And then exhale as you take your fingertips up towards the sky. And just have a little look over at your arm. See if you can bring your wrist over your elbow and your elbow in line with your shoulder. So I've got one arm that likes to do it, the other one not so much. Takes a little bit more effort. See how that feels. Strong goddess arms. One more inhale, exhale, release, and give them a little wiggle out. Nice. Bringing the feet slightly forward. See if you can place the soles of your feet together to find Baddha Konasana. Depending on how your body's feeling today, whether this is your first asana practice or not, decide how close you want your heels to come to your pelvis. You might want to create more of a diamond shape, or you might feel like you can draw your heels a little bit closer. Hands could rest on the ankles or the calves, or you can bind with your feet if that feels good in your body. Taking an inhale, and maybe just staying here, breathing steadily. You're using your exhale to gently hinge forwards at the hips, being guided forwards by your heart space. And just see how that feels in your hips. Still lengthening out through the crown of your head. Exhale to come back up to center. And again, you might want to stay here. You could even try bringing the soles of your feet maybe slightly up towards the sky and seeing how that feels in the rest of your legs. Or I'm going to take some small circles in both directions. If you want to join me, you can inhale as you circle forwards. Exhale, circling back. Changing direction if you want to. Just flowing with your breath, moving in a way that feels good for your body today. Finding stillness again if you need to. I'm going to take the hands, bring the knees together in front of you, maybe just leaning out on your hands behind you and just wiping the knees side to side, feeling a little bit of release through the outer hips if you need it. And then from here, we're going to come round onto all fours. So if you are sitting on a block or a cushion, you can pop that to one side and think about lining yourself up in a tabletop position, finding your wrists underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips and about hip width apart. Think about staying strong through the shoulders, so we're not sinking down, but we're lifting up and being engaged here. And we'll move through some cat-cows to continue mobilizing the spine, massaging the internal organs. So when you're ready to, as we take an inhale, we're going to take the tailbone up towards the sky, drawing the heart space forwards like it's coming between your shoulders. And then exhale to press into the mat, curving your spine up towards the sky, tailbone tucks under. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Or any breath work that suits you this morning. And if you find that when you move through your cat-cows, you quite often hinge at the same point in your spine, you can take a moment to just stay in each pose for a second and really take the tailbone up that little bit further towards the sky, tucking the shoulder blades in towards your waist in cow pose. See if you can change that sensation in the spine. And equally, as you breathe your way through to cat, pressing the ground array, really tucking the tailbone under as much as you can and feeling the shoulder blades as they move to the outside of your body, head hangs down gently. Doing one more of each. Finding yourself back at a tabletop position. You can bring your big toes to touch. Take your knees as wide as the mat and then sending your tailbone down towards your heels to find child's pose. If this isn't something that feels super comfortable for your body, I invite you to get whichever props you need to feel comfortable in Balasana today. Maybe a cushion between your calves and your thighs. Maybe a cushion or a block to rest your head on, if you don't find that your forehead easily comes to the mat. And just noticing how it feels here to completely surrender to this pose. Hips soften. Breath moves your spine. Forehead rests on the mat or on a cushion. Finding your intention if you need it. I am grounded. I am stable. I am present in this moment. Taking one more nice breath here. And we're going to come from here to a downward facing dog. So lifting the hips back up, draw the knees in until they're underneath your hips again. And then spreading the fingers a little bit wider so that you can press down through your fingertips. Tuck your toes under behind you. Take an inhale. And as you exhale, start to lift the knees up, sending the pelvis high. And sending your weight back towards your heels. Chest moves towards the thighs. You might want to walk your feet. Knees might have a slight bend or your legs may be straight, whatever feels good for you today. Keep drawing your shoulder blades down towards your waist so you're not hunching near your ears. And try to just slightly micro bend your elbows as you breathe steadily in your downward facing dog. Taking a breath in. Exhale to find your way into Uttanasana, so maybe walking your feet towards your hands or your hands towards your feet. Whatever feels good. Bending the knees as much as you need to, especially if this is your first forward fold of the day. Maybe moving the hips and the knees, releasing the forehead. And then drawing your navel in towards your spine, pressing it down into your pelvis to engage your deep core. And then when you're ready, with an exhale, we're going to start to slowly roll yourself all the way up to standing. You can sweep your arms up and overhead if that feels good. Hands finding your heart space. Releasing your hands down to your sides. Finding your Tadasana. Noticing your standing alignment. Still finding that length out through the crown. Softening your shoulders. And just drawing your awareness to the sensation of your feet connected to the earth. Feeling that balance. As your palms face forwards and your heart space shines out, you can smile. I am grounded. I am stable. I am present in this moment. Or finding your own intention for your practice. Take another calming breath here. And then when you're ready, we're going to take the feet out wide. As wide as you feel comfortable. Toes are going to come out towards the edges, the short edges of the mat as well. But how far they go is going to be really unique to your own body. You want to test it by just seeing as if when you bend your knees, you want your knees to track the second and third toes. I'm going to bring my feet in a little bit. Lovely. Lifting up with the pelvic floor. Drawing your belly in towards your spine, nice soft shoulders. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower the tailbone closer to the ground. Knees are tracking in the same direction as your toes. Drawing your tailbone underneath you. Shoulder blades down towards the waist. And just seeing how it feels to hold those goddess legs. If that's feeling really stable and secure, you can come back to that cactus arm position for a full goddess pose. Remember, you don't have to stay here for any longer than it's comfortable for you. You can always come up, shake your legs off, and dip back down as many times as you need to. Or just breathing steadily. Letting those steady breaths cultivate that calm courageousness in your body. You can stay here, or you can lower right arm, lifting the right fingertips to the left fingertips to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, reaching with the right arm. Inhale. Exhale, reaching with the left. You can do one more each side if you wish to. And with this exhale, we're going to lower the arms, straighten the knees, walking your feet in, shaking the legs out a little bit. Taking a full breath here. We're going to move through one sun salutation and really take our time in each different section. So give yourself plenty of space in front of you on the mat, finding your feet like a narrow hip width apart, starting with your hands together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. As you inhale, reaching the fingertips to the sky, and then exhale, drawing the arms down and starting to roll yourself down into Uttanasana, forward fold. Bending your knees as much as you need to, or keeping the legs straight if that feels good in your body. With an inhale, we're going to come halfway up, reaching forwards out through the crown of the head. And then exhale, coming back down towards the mat in forward fold. Inhale as you walk your hands out to plank. Pressing out into the heels, shoulders over your wrists. Turn the inside of your elbows forward so that as you bend your elbows, they lower out behind you. Knees can come down whenever you need them to. As you lower chest, then belly. Take an inhale, drawing the navel into your spine. We're going to exhale to lift up into a low cobra, just bringing the chest up off the mat. Exhale back down. Tucking the toes, pressing into the pads of the fingers and the cupping underneath the palm of the hands. We're going to inhale and exhale, send the pelvis high, finding downward facing dog. And just seeing if you can find that gentle little micro bend of the elbow. So rather than resting bone on bone and extending completely through the elbow, if you slightly bend, you're going to engage your triceps to do the work here. Weight down into your heels. Walking yourself to Uttanasana when you're ready. Finding that forward fold again. And again, engaging your deep core here. So navel draws in towards your spine and down into your pelvis. Slowly rolling yourself all the way up. Circling the arms high. Exhale as you find Anjali Mudra at your heart center. Let's start to come back down to the mat now. And we're going to do that through Muladhara or garland pose. So having your feet about as wide as the mat, taking the toes out about 45 degrees. Navel in towards your spine. Soften your shoulders, engage with the pelvic floor. And then whenever you're ready to, we're going to start to lower the tailbone down to the mat into a deep squat. So if you feel like having something there to sit on is going to feel really good, you could grab a couple of blocks and just have them ready underneath your pelvis so that you can rest your pelvis down whenever you need to. Take an inhale. Exhale, bending your knees, lowering the tailbone down. Adjusting your feet however you need to find that deep squat. You might find that pressing the elbows into the knee creases helps you to find balance here. Checking how you're balancing over your feet. It's tempting to fall into those inner arches. But if you keep lifting out through the crown, engaging your core, seeing if you can stay in some balance here. This is a brilliant way to strengthen your pelvic floor, which in turn then all supports all of your internal pelvic organs, as well as the lower spine. Sitting down gently when you're ready to, maybe a little bit more gracefully than me, or not, don't worry. Coming gently back then to your seated position. If you enjoy that little bit of height, you can come back to a low block or a cushion here as well. And just taking a steady breath. We're going to start with the legs out in front, knees bent. And then from here, we're going to take the right heel and bring it close to the left buttock. This might feel really good to just stay here, pressing into that calf and finding length through the spine. Or if it's comfortable in your body, you can cross that left foot over the bottom right leg. And from here, we can find a little bit of a spinal twist. So as you inhale, lifting up and out of the pelvis. reaching with the arm, and as we exhale, we're going to wrap right arm around that top left thigh. Inhale to reach out through the spine, and exhale, twisting around to the left. Each time you inhale, think about spiraling up through the spine from the base of the pelvis. And then exhale, maybe twisting a little bit deeper, feeling that sensation through the thoracic spine. One more breath here. Exhale to come round to center. And again, you might want to stay here or keep playing with that spinal twist. Or if you enjoy your Gomukhasana, you can lift that left foot up, placing the top of the left foot on the floor as well and stacking the knees. Gently resting your hands on your feet. Focus on releasing through the hips in Gomukhasana. Softening the shoulders, reaching out through the crown of the head. You can stay here, or you can bring the arms into the pose as well, maybe using a yoga strap to connect your hands. If you're using a strap, have that in your right hand, hang it down behind your head, bringing the left hand around to reach it. Or if your hands naturally touch, you can clasp your fingers or just bring your fingertips to touch behind you, trying to take the elbows towards the sky and the earth. And breathe. Taking one more breath in. Exhale to release your arms and guide that top leg around to the front and then all the way out in front of you. You can bring the right foot to rest on the inside of that left thigh and then taking the toes up towards the sky. Take a lovely deep inhale. And with your exhale, start to hinge forwards at the hips, coming to fold over that leg. You can keep your legs straight if that feels good in your body, or you can bend your knee as deeply as you need to make it comfortable to reach forwards. Hands might rest on the calf, the ankle, or bind with the foot. And if you're feeling the majority of that sensation in the back of your leg, maybe try bending the knee and seeing if you can extend that sensation all the way through the back body. One more breath in. Exhale to walk yourself back to center. And we'll see how those poses feel on the opposite leg. So we're coming back to knees bent in front, soles of the feet on the floor. And this time the left heel is going to come towards the right buttock. Drawing that right leg a little bit closer. This might feel like a really nice place to stay and just find lots of length through the spine, pressing into that right calf. Or if it feels good in your body, cross the right leg over the bottom left leg. And again, you can stay centered here. Or you can take an inhale, and with that exhale, wrap the left arm around the right thigh, and exhale to twist in towards that top knee. As you inhale, lift up and out of the pelvis, and then exhale, seeing if you can twist a little bit deeper. Think about that spiral coming out from the base towards the head. One more nice deep inhale. Exhale to come back to center, maybe staying centered here. Or if you enjoyed that Gomukhasana, you can try that on the other side as well. Lifting the right foot up, placing the top of the right foot on the floor. Seeing if you can stack your knees a little bit. Don't worry if it's not exactly one over the other. And then letting your hands rest on your feet. Sometimes that little bit of security of your hands on your feet means that with your exhale, you can surrender at the hips. Notice that change in sensation as you let go in Gomukhasana. Guiding the crown to the sky, softening the shoulders, staying focused on your breath. If you wish to, you can bring the arms into your Gomukhasana now, maybe using a strap in that left hand, coming up towards the sky and taking the palm of the hand onto the back, and then reaching around with the right arm to either find the strap or find the fingertips, drawing elbows to sky and earth. Exhale, soften at the hips. You don't want to pull your head forwards here. If you're pressing yourself forwards, just release the hands so you can still find that length out through the crown. Exhale to release the arms, guiding that right leg all the way back round to the front and taking it out long in front of you. Sole of the left foot comes to meet the right thigh. Inhale as you lift up and out of your pelvis, and then exhale to hinge at the hips, reaching towards your foot. You might find that you get lots of length here and you can bind with your foot and bring your head low down towards your knee. I'm not quite made that way, so I'm going to bend my knee quite deeply as I hinge a little bit lower, finding that sensation through the back of the leg and the spine. It's one of those poses that looks different for everybody. Just feeling that sensation all through the back body. Let your breath fill your torso. Exhale to guide yourself back up to center. And from here we're going to ease ourselves back down into a lying position on the mat. So you can do that by coming down onto one side and rolling onto your back. Or if you prefer, drawing the navel in towards the spine, knees bent, soles on the floor, and start to lower yourself down a vertebrae at a time. Let the soles of the feet rest on the floor as the knees are bent, pointing up towards the sky. Soften your shoulders and your arms. Softening the neck. Just noticing how this feels different to the beginning of your practice. Lots of different emotions can come up during yoga that is opening the root chakra. So just acknowledging anything that comes up for you and accepting it for what it is. Maybe you're just experiencing some glorious release or of tightness in the spine or the hips. So if this is feeling really good, I invite you to simply stay here. Or if you enjoy some pelvic tilts or a bridge, you can use your inhale to take your tailbone down into the mat and rock your hip bones forwards. And then as you exhale, reversing this movement, tilting the hip bones in, tucking the tailbone underneath you so that your spine presses flat to the mat. Inhale as you tilt the pelvis away. Exhale as you tilt in. You can stay here moving your pelvis in this way. Or if you would like to, with your next exhale, tilting the pelvis in, continue with that movement so that you're lifting the pelvis high, letting the thigh bones roll in towards each other. Knees are nice and stable as you lift the pelvis up high. So you want to have a sensation of balancing on your shoulders and the upper part of your back here rather than the neck and the head. So you want to think about keeping that natural gap, just ever so slightly tucking the chin. Soft shoulders and arms. Stable glutes. Using your core. Steady breaths. And any variation you enjoy here. If you practice this pose a lot, you might bring your arms underneath you and interlace the fingers. But for me, I'm going to start gently lowering the spine down, rolling down carefully, a vertebrae at a time. And in my body, there comes a point where I need to lift my heels, so that might be you as well, or you might come all the way down with the feet flat. Deep breath in. Soft exhale out through the mouth. Notice how you're feeling now as you ease your body into whichever position feels good for Shavasana. You might stay here with the knees bent. You might feel happier on your side today. Or you can lower the legs down, finding that traditional shape of corpse pose. Adjusting your shoulder blades to soften the shoulders. And if your lower back's still feeling tight or painful, sometimes a yoga bolster or cushions underneath the knees feels great here too. Notice how your breath is feeling in your body. Letting each exhale soften yourself down a little bit deeper. Feeling the support of the ground underneath you. I am grounded. I am stable. I am present in this moment. If you're finding your intention or your affirmation calming, you can keep those words in your mind. Or simply focus on your breathing. If you find that other thoughts come into your mind at this time, just know that that's completely normal. You can acknowledge that that thought is there and then let it float away as easily as it came, centering into your breath and doing that as many times as you need to. And when you're ready to, start to take a few moments just to bring yourself back into the space that you're in. Gently starting to move your fingers and your toes, slightly moving your hips. And if you aren't there already, easing yourself over onto one side. You can draw your knees a little bit closer to your chest, tucking your chin down. Take a lovely deep inhale, let it fill your torso. And then softly blowing it out through your mouth. Lifting yourself to seated when you're ready to. Letting a smile settle on your face as you bring your hands to your heart center. Just saying thank you to yourself for taking this time with your practice today. Namaste.